Hey,
Hey, Sonia, how you doing?
good, Charles. How are you?
Good, good. I got the little one with me right now, so we hanging.
Yeah, I see that. How are you guys doing today?
Good. It's been rough. He had shots the other day, so he was
Oh,
yeah he was a little upset all day.
yeah, I bet. Well, hopefully you guys are doing all the right things to soothe him.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, it is. I have no idea, but more power to you, man.
Yeah. So how you doing? How was your day today?
It was good. It was a good busy day. I always like it when there's a good cadence to the day.
Right. Oh, let me just take this off. Move this out the way. Okay, awesome. So did you get your package yet, or no?
No, not yet. But I'm sure it's really close considering we're so close to one another.
Yeah, I know. It's today, so hopefully you'll get it by I don't know 8 p.m. our time.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to play around with it and how to see how I fit it with some of the other stuff. I have some ideas in my head. So,
Yes, yes, appreciate you. Thank you for your support too.
oh, you are so very welcome. I feel like it's the least I can do.
So all the orders that came through Saturday and Sunday, we're going to make an announcement. We're going to donate 10% of all the sales to donating masks to healthcare professionals and whatever other supplies that they need throughout the whole United States. So thank you for that. Really.
That's awesome. I'm really happy to hear that, collectively, like everything's going towards a good cause, as well as helping support your initiative and what you're doing to help bring the community
Yeah,
closer together.
yeah, appreciate you. So for the community and everybody listening and everybody who will hear this video, why don't you tell us about yourself? What is it you do? Where you're from? Where you're currently living?
Cool. I'm Sonia. I live in Chicago. I'm an art director by trade, have been working in advertising for over 14 years. Um, Contextually for the community, I'm just a denim enthusiast. I'm kind of out to prove that, good quality goods aren't beholden to any specific gender.
Right.
So making sure that the playing field's kind of leveled, stepping up for the ladies.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome. And you guys were you were the aside from me and Big Mike from California, you women, you and Holly and Tara were the only ones represent hard on the social hour after Threaded.
yeah. It was really nice. It was a very intimate and nice social hour, like getting everybody together and being able to connect with Holly, who I haven't previously connected with before.
Right.
And I'm stoked to see what she's doing as like a maker herself. It
Right.
was really inspirational.
Yeah, it's really dope. I love the energy that we have. And for you, so you know, you just said trying to level the playing field.
Yeah.
So, so what does that mean to you in regards to like, the heritage goods, the denim? I mean, I saw your post today. You gave a shout out to Eve because we
Yeah.
had a similar conversation over the weekend about that same thing. So what do you mean by that?
I mean, I believe that sort of style in general transcends culture,
Right.
transcends, race, gender. And I think that the idea of like menswear in particular, like it stops being menswear when women start to wear it.
Right.
And I think um, in general, clothing, especially heritage and vintage, like it is made better for men.
Right.
Like, especially nowadays, like you just have collectively more goods that are better made to men because women's fashion is very it's very like fluid in a sense where it's throwaway, I guess.
Right. Right.
Um, so I think allowing women to come into the space, or like women stepping up and coming into the space and discovering this high quality, well crafted goods that stand the test of time, um, you know, shows that they can have a better relationship
Right.
with their clothes just as much as the men can. And that, denim in general that's maybe cut and sewn for a man can look just as good on a woman's, can fit just as well on a woman.
And it's crazy because it's crazy because you're doing all right. Okay, all right. She took the baby from me. So when we first dropped the women's denim, it was Lady Raw, and it was about 2.5 years ago, and we got more excited about that than the men's because it was a cone stretch, non-selvage, but it was a beautiful fit for the traditional female look,
Right.
And so now we were supposed to drop a new run of women's denim April, so we're gonna push it out to the fall. We have a collaboration we're working on, and we're gonna drop our own run, and it is a beautiful fit. So we're excited. It's a stretch selvage. It's cone, and you're right. I mean, you're giving us more ideas. The more we talk to you, the more Tara and I conversate about women's denim in general, heritage goods, how things fit her. It's becoming more of an inspiration to build and create women's heritage goods, if you will.
Yeah, I'm really happy to hear you say that, because I think the more women realize like that they can have like a higher, like a better relationship with their garments, and realize that they not only become a blueprint to them and how they wear them, because that's the beauty of like raw, that's the beauty of selvage, right? Like it becomes unique to you over time. It's like your blueprint, your history. I don't think you have that in the majority of women's goods these days.
Right.
So I think you guys are definitely tapping into a very like niche market, but a market that's very hungry for that kind of those kind of goods and that kind of exposure.
Yeah, it's we talked about it when we met in Chicago over at Mama Blend.
Yeah.
Fast fashion, mass production. It's just it is more prone to women than it is for men,
Right.
Because it's throwaway fashion.
Yep.
It's I mean, and you and Tara can speak more about it in regards to the things that you get and how well it's made, and it's. I mean, Tara, you have I don't know if you have the same issue, but for Tara, her arms, like right around the arm, it's never fitting to her the way it should fit and flatter her the way it should wear, unless it's a men's top,
Right. Right. Yeah, no, definitely. And even with like certain men's fits, like I love menswear. I wear 99% of men's clothing, and even there I found that like even the tapering, like shirts that taper down,
Right.
like that is a look that's common for a man, but then you see brands like Warehouse and Flathead and Real McCoy's like do more of the traditional like straight fit in like their flannels, their work shirts. That's very much a throwback to the sort of military era style clothing, where it wasn't as like fitted, where it's more straight and not as wide in the shoulders. And I think for women, it's such a great fit. It's such a great look. But yeah, in a lot of women's clothing, like having shirts that like don't fit right in the arms or are just too short in the torso, I think is like another very real thing that we struggle with as ladies.
You said something about the military uniform, babe. What about the transition from military uniforms for women? Like how it went from the Gumby fit, if you will. Mm-hmm. It's a can you tell Sonia about your experience in that?
The Gumby fit?
Yeah.
Tell me about the Gumby fit.
Is the army gonna come after me?
No.
So when I tried the women's, especially the top, of course they like taper it more, to make it more figure flattering. But when I put it on, I look like Fat Man in a little coat. So because everything is always so tight right here. And I mean, some would say, oh, it's because you have broad shoulders, and some would just say it's because I don't know what, but you know, so I went back to wearing the Gumby suit, if you will, the very square looking one, just because, I mean, I'm not gonna walk around and only be able to hold my arm up this high,
Right.
you know, and that's the struggle that I have with most women's tops. So I'll either end up having to get a size that's extremely way too big, then it looks like I have a trash bag on.
Yeah.
Or I just have to wear a men's top.
Right. Right. And I think at least with the men's stuff, it's easier to kind of tailor it and to your particular body, which I think is great. Like you have more flexibility in figuring out what the fit is. I cannot imagine what it's like to serve or to be in the Army. Thank you both. That is
pleasure.
Amazing to share that experience too, because I think like you see, you know, that level of like craftsmanship come into so many goods that we see in heritage wear today. Like so much is inspired by Army, Navy surplus goods.
It is. And then a lot of our pieces are military inspired. And we can go on and on about that, but it's definitely sewn into the thread of the product that we drop. And so before we get sidetracked, we had one question we wanted to ask you. So, going off your website and your background, and the current struggles that you have, that you're sharing with everybody, because we're all struggling right now in the economy. So you described your formula of success, and it was passion plus talent equals success. So can you tell us more about that and what inspired you to create that formula?
Sure. Well, originally that formula was sort of created. I taught as an undergraduate professor at Columbia College while I was working at an agency called Leo Burnett. So I had the pleasure of simultaneously teaching evenings. And that formula was originally created to inspire students, but I think it transcends all creative fields. No matter what your pursuit is, you know, having talent for what you do is super important, but ultimately it's the passion that you have for what you're doing that is going to push your talent into a place of inevitable success, however that's measured to you.
Right. It's and I think when Tara and I, when we get around a whole bunch of creatives, or we go to a store, and we can just take Mild Blend for example. You know, the day we were at Mild Blend with yourself and Lucas, the inspiration just shot in the air, because you're in a store that creates a vibe. Shout out to Mild Blend and all the cool workers there and the dope people there. You're in a store that as soon as you walk in, they're greeting you. The music is playing, the vibe is curated, it smells good. They're educated in the heritage goods, the denim that they carry, and it just it drives you to be more passionate about the things you care about. For one, how it's going to fit you. And, the talents that you might have, and for some, it might in some way just inspire you to do something else for whatever your background is. If it's advertising, if it's fashion design, denim design, if it's hair and makeup, whatever it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Mild Blends does such an amazing job for curating a feel that really like immerses you as the consumer in this world, where you not only feel comfortable, but you feel like you were saying, Charles, like super inspired, which ultimately, you know, leads you to like spend money. Like it's a great marketing ecosystem that they create. Same thing. Shout out to Independence here in Chicago. To Icky, who has like curated that store for years. I mean, that store also just has just phenomenal heritage feel to it, and
I think he's a walking piece of heritage.
I know he is. He's amazing. I had the pleasure of knowing him for such a long time, and now Andrew has joined that shop in the last couple of years, and he brings a different perspective to it as well. So both like timeless quality, and then agree with you, like Luke Cho, he is just the man, like curating Mild Blend like he does, like, and having those relationships with bringing brands that are so hard to find from Japan, from Canada, from the Netherlands, like in the States, is super huge.
So we're talking about being inspired and um, constantly digging into that creation and that creative, I guess, perspective, if you will. So since you can't go outside, you're not supposed to really, and we're shut in. Like, how are you? You're not around these people physically. How are you continuing to create and be creative, like in your realm, in your background?
It's a great question. I think since sort of day one of the quarantine for me, like the very first day that we, for work specifically, like they were like, all right, work from home starting now until, whenever
Right.
this dies down. I feel like the fit every day has been my canvas, kind of like you sit down and you play some music or you paint a painting. Like every day I've put together a fit and just posted it on Instagram as sort of like my small little piece of creativity amidst the chaos. Because to me, it's a form of self-expression, right? Like, it's also very like, it's almost like baking in a way. You're like, I'm going to put this together. I'm going to see how it jives.
Right.
And then I'm going to put it out there to be received by the community or those outside the community and just, see how it flows.
Right.
And that's sort of the way I've been creative during these like 4 weeks now.
Yeah, you're right. It's close to a month. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's passed fast, right? Like, doesn't it
Yes.
feel like just yesterday we were, like slowly but surely, like the rules have, given us a tighter space in which to be creative in, but we're still here.
Yep.
We're still carrying on.
Yep. I agree. So, when Tara and we were looking at your website, and of course we have a lot more to talk about outside of the IG Live, but you had a quote that stuck with us really hard. And I'm going to read it to everyone, and then we want to get your perspective on how you came up with that, and because you have a way with words, you speak very well, and we appreciate that because words matter, So when we're reading posts, like we're gonna put thought into the posts that we create, and we kind of want to read something. We just don't want to see a picture scrolling through Instagram with just a shot of denim. It doesn't mean anything unless you have words behind it, So you said, my mission is to create a bridge between the physical and digital world using visual communication as my vessel. It was awesome. Those are your words, okay?
They are. They were written a long time ago. Yeah, it's kind of my artist's mission statement.
Right.
As a designer and art director, like I've always had to kind of operate, and I think this goes for a lot of creative people, we kind of operate as our own small business. Like we create a brand for ourselves, and then we have to market ourselves and sort of our perspective on communication, art, music, whatever it is that we're experts in.
Right.
And so that was kind of meant to be my own little like marketing step inside my brain for anyone who is interested in hiring me, like my approach to my passion. I love that we have technology, and as human beings, we've created these tremendous technologies that now play a very literal role in our everyday lives. The question for brands and for creative people is, how do we bridge that gap between the physical and the digital space? That's something I'm personally really passionate about when it comes to the work that I do for the brands I work for. I believe a lot of that comes from great, beautiful, and immersive and thought-provoking and challenging visual communication, whether that's great design or words, like you were saying, Charles. Like, words carry a lot of weight. Typography from an artistic sense has always been my number one love. And I think that is at the root of my passion, is that constant drive to bridge the gap between the physical and the digital space.
Right. Wow. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, thanks.
So you had me thinking. So, and this was not an originally planned question. So, taking that thought and talking about what we talked about at the beginning of the conversation with women's heritage, what would that look like if you were to go out and create a visual narrative, if you will, right? Um, and your goal is to show the new women's heritage. Um, what would it look like? To because for both of y'all, this is a women's market that's emerging. And by the way, y'all are the best sellers ever. So so because the guys we can't really sell. We can sell what we can. We can sell when we're but the women, you guys can sell to men. You can sell to women, and I think you guys have the upper hand. So what does that look like to y'all?
Go ahead.
Oh man, that is such a deep question.
I don't know the answer. I didn't have anything in my head.
That's a separate IG live.
It would have to be like a round table of like me, Tara, Eve, Susie, aka the Denim Bitch, like get Bryce in on it.
Right.
Get Madi from Standard and Strange, and then all the lovely women in Europe. Eve and everyone else, like just a round table of women, like answering that monumental question. I think for me personally, showing the relationship between the person and the good over a period of time is what communicates the strongest to me. So I feel like if women could see what that relationship looks like, especially when it comes to denim, raw selvage denim, like when you first get into that pair of jeans and your journey, your personal journey with those jeans and how they evolve with you, I think is such a strong story. It would be awesome to see that narrative come to life in a really authentic way.
Wow.
Yeah, I totally agree.
That's crazy.
I have a friend, he's a close friend, a personal friend of mine. He's also a photographer. He shoots everything for Freenot, and him and I have worked together on a lot of jobs as well. And it's my hope in this year, possibly the next, to sort of team up with him and explore a narrative in like short digestible content form of what that would be like, especially from the perspective of a woman.
Right.
Yeah. I got nothing.
I think you hit it on the nail. And I can't remember, it escapes my mind right now. Bryce did a photo shoot a while ago. I want to say about a year and a half ago. And she killed that narrative. Like, she murdered the women's heritage narrative.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have to put it up again later on our story, but that's what you're talking about. And when I hear you say all of you guys at the round table, that's freaking powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, someone who really like killed a great heritage and denim narrative recently was the short film Weaving Shibuya by the guys at Self-Edge produced Weaving Shibuya. That film literally made me cry. Like, it was such a beautiful look into like some of the best denim makers in Japan. Yeah, it's a short form documentary and it's just fabulous.
Wow. Y'all are taking over. Oh man. So we can talk about that all night.
I know, right?
So in our last question for you is, it just relates to what we talked about in the name of the series, Denim Stories. So with not giving Denim Stories a background and not, this is an open-ended question. What does Denim Stories mean to you?
Oh man, great question. You guys, you just hit me with all the good questions. I think Denim Stories to me is about connecting with the community. There is nothing more powerful than people connecting from different walks of life connecting over a pen.
Right.
And you, through Denim Stories, like you have the capability to bring people together and also give people a platform and make them feel like they have a voice and that they're being heard. And I think that's super important in the world we live in today as human beings. So beyond just community and passion, I think it's just like holding space, which I think is super rad.
Wow. Yeah. I dig it. I really do. Man. Oh. So we're going to have to put this together. Like, we're going to have to figure out a way how to put all of you women at a table. It might have to be virtual right now, but we're going to have to figure that out. Because that'll be a real dope conversation. Actually, when we hang up, we're gonna start brainstorming about that.
Yeah, that would be great to give women a platform, especially in this particular niche community.
We talked about so our launch for this collaboration that we're doing, and we don't want to talk about the brand we're collaborating with right now, but we're collaborating on a women's run with them, and we talked about, because we couldn't launch it in April, it's kind of a good thing, because if we're waiting for the fall, we can actually pair another piece to that. I don't know what that piece would be, but to pair something else with a great denim run for women, that's going to be powerful. I think that'll be really dope.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what you guys do this year. I feel like you're on the roll. You're really bringing the community together, and the goods that you're making are clearly made from a place of like real love and passion for like heritage and denim.
Oh man, thank you.
I always hope that when we package up an item or an order, that people feel the love and authenticity put into the piece that they purchased.
Yeah, I'm sure that comes through. I'm excited to receive my share.
Yeah, you gotta hit us up as soon as you try it on, you know.
Yeah.
And we want to know your first reaction, you know, because the overshirt is not a piece that it's a challenging seller for us online, because the feel of it is totally different. You cannot communicate the feel through pictures. You can't, if through words you just can't. It's a brush canvas, and so yeah, we're just excited to hear your initial reaction.
I'm excited to receive it and just, like you said, feel it and play with it. It's amazing, like how this industry works so hard to convey texture visually, because we order so much stuff online, right? Like that's where the majority of consumers are you know, hanging out these days, ordering stuff online, especially with what's going on now. And it's so hard to convey, like, because once you get it in your hands, like the smell, the touch, like the buttons, the buttonholes, like the stitching, like everything is intentional, as it should be. So
right. Yep. Yes, agreed. Oh man, thank you, Sonia. Thank you for just giving us inspiration, getting us amped and hyped up about this next move. We have a couple ideas. I mean, it's just about to go hard, especially for the women.
Awesome. And I'm happy to hear.
Yeah, we just appreciate you. And thank you for joining us on Denim Stories.
Thank you so much for having me, both Tara and Charles. Thank you very much.
I'm excited to meet you in person.
Yeah, I know. Soon enough. As soon as quarantine.
I know. You're not that far, so it's easy.
I know, super easy. We'll have to get a denim hang together again.
Oh yeah, yep. Chicago denim hang. Yeah. Okay, yep. You can do it. All right. Appreciate it.
All right. Yep. Thank you.
All right. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too. See you guys later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.